Up next on Connections, a new generation of CTA railcars take to the tracks for passenger testing. The 5000 series prototypes are here. They've become classics in their own right. How you can get your commemorative Crosstown CTA Farecards and posters. The CTA marks a milestone in the ongoing efforts to keep customers safe and secure. And need an app to enhance your CTA travel experience? There's a webpage for that. Up next on Connections. The CTA, working hard to improve, committed to quality, and committed to customers. Welcome to Connections. Hello, I'm Omar Barragan, your host for Connections. A lot of things get better with age. Wine, cheese, and people come to mind. But no one has ever said to a rail car, "You're not getting older, you're getting better." With nearly 30% of CTA rail cars well past their prime, it's time to retire the older cars and replace them with new ones. That's what the CTA is doing with the introduction of the 5000 series railcars. They're here. Prototypes of the long-awaited, highly anticipated 5000 series railcars are on the tracks.
So we're pleased today to be here to introduce you to the next generation of rail cars for the CTA. Until now, CTA's most recent purchase of new rail cars was in the early 1990s, when the 3200 series cars were purchased for the opening of the Orange Line and to replace older cars on the Brown and Yellow lines.
The CTA has 1,190 rail cars. Nearly 30% of those are between 32 and 41 years old. New cars will replace the oldest cars in the fleet to ensure reliable service and reduce maintenance costs.
While the economy forced CTA to make some difficult choices this year, whether or not to make improvements to the service we provide was not one of them. Putting off critical investments such as this would place the agency so far behind that it would be nearly impossible to make up ground in the future.
There are 10 prototype cars. The cars will be tested on all 8 lines. The cars don't look much different on the outside, but on the inside, there's a sleek new look and a variety of special features and technologies. Most obvious is the aisle-facing seating. You'll recognize the configuration if you've ever taken public transit in New York or Boston. The seats are the same size as those in older cars, but the new arrangement allows for better customer flow and more customers per car.
With their old seating arrangement, there's a bottleneck with the seats. It's kind of a narrow space between the seats, and it's hard for customers to pass through.
There are hand straps to help standing customers keep their balance. LED indicator maps and destination signs help customers keep track of station stops, the date and time. And all the cars are equipped with security cameras.
One camera is actually facing out of the front of the train. The other 6 basically cover pretty much every square inch of the train. So if something happens, we have a record of the incidents.
There are several safety features not on the prototype cars that will be included in the final order,
including the ability for the rail car operator to view the interior of each rail car and speak to the people in that rail car via active passenger intercom. The Chicago Police Department will have remote video surveillance access, and CTA's control center will be able to make emergency audio announcements and send emergency text messages to the LED signs inside the trains.
Our emergency decals and signs are also photoluminescent.
Other safety features include glow-in-the-dark floor strips to guide people to the exits in the event a car loses power. The doors have added safety features too.
The method of sensing an obstruction in the door is kind of done in a high-tech way. It's being done through sensing in the motor versus using actual switches in the rubber edge. As you can see, I could put a finger in and the doors will bounce back, allowing me to free my hand.
Not as obvious to the customers, but equally as important are the efficiency features of the new rail cars. The older cars use DC or direct current to drive trains. Alternating current or AC propulsion drives the new cars.
A good feature of the AC propulsion is what we call regenerative braking. It's similar to what a hybrid car does. When a hybrid car brakes, the motors will turn into generators and generate electricity. And in this case, instead of storing it into a battery, we put it back into the third rail. So if there's another car on the same power section, it uses that power.
AC propulsion is the standard today and is used on other large systems such as New York, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta. It is more cost-efficient as parts for maintenance are easier to get. A new computerized diagnostic system provides a digital performance record for individual cars. Inside the cab, any problems with equipment pops up on a digital display to let the driver know what and where the problem is.
The operator is able to troubleshoot a little bit quicker and be able to get the train moving quickly.
The 5000 series train cars will be tested through at least the end of the year, so the CTA can monitor how the cars perform in all weather conditions. CTA plans to order an additional 396 cars when testing is completed. Before the train cars entered passenger service for testing, they went through several months of testing out of service to make sure the cars were safe and passenger-worthy. Cubs fans sing, "Go Cubs Go." White Sox fans chant, "Go Go White Sox." Both sets of fans say, "Go CTA." It's the best way to get to both ballparks. Whether it's US Cellular Field on the south side or Wrigley Field to the north, the Red Line connects fans to their favorite ballpark without the hassle and expense of driving and parking.
It takes you all the way from North Chicago all the way to South Chicago.
And back.
The Red Line stops just outside the ballparks. 35th Street is the stop for US Cellular. Addison is the stop for Wrigley. What could be more convenient and fun than a train full of like-minded fans? How about a bus full of fans? The number 152 Addison bus drops fans just feet from the friendly confines, as does the number 22 Clark and number 8 Halstead. The number 35 35th Street and 39 Pershing buses offer front door service to US Cellular. The CTA once again has commemorative fare cards and posters for this year's Crosstown series. The posters have become sought-after souvenirs ever since they were first introduced in 1998. This year's poster features the unsung heroes of the ballpark, the hot dog vendors.
Hey, hot dogs!
Let's be frank, grilled meat and cold beverages are as much a part of the ballpark experience as the game itself.
Exactly, it's part of the atmosphere, it's part of the environment.
Steve Musgrave is an illustrator who has created 12 Crosstown series posters for the CTA. The 2010 poster is a whimsical departure from past depictions of ballplayers.
I appreciate the fact that the CTA was open to doing something a little more playful, and that wasn't just a baseball player. You know, it's a hot dog man.
Steve's first CTA gig was a series of baseball-themed paintings that adorned the Addison Al Station. Now his posters adorn countless walls in and across Chicago.
I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And some people say they collect them, and some people go out of their way to pick them up, which always is nice to see. I'm a big fan of early 20th century European poster design. It's I don't know, kind of a streamlined or deco look. Every time I'm designing them, I picture them in some kid's wall, like what I would have done with them when I was a kid.
And how does he decide whether to put Cubs versus Sox or Sox versus Cubs?
It is always decided, whoever hosts the games first gets top billing. It started at Wrigley Field for the last few years.
Prior to each game of the series, CTA employees distribute the posters as long as supplies last. The commemorative fare cards are available for purchase at CTA vending machines across the city throughout the month of June or while supplies last. As I stand here at the Clinton station on the green and pink lines, I'm being recorded by two cameras. The TV camera, of course, and a CTA security camera. The CTA set a goal to place one or more security cameras in each of its 144 rail stations by May 31st. I'm happy to report that goal was met.
The safety and security of the system and its passengers have always been one of the top priorities.
Mayor Daley and CTA officials announced the successful installation of rail station security cameras during a news conference at the Paulina Brown Line stop.
So far this year, they have installed about 550 cameras, increasing coverage to more than 1,800. By the end of the year, CTA plans to have nearly 3,000 cameras installed system-wide, which we greatly need.
Additional installations are planned across the system, beginning with the loop stations and the brown line and the red line after that, and then continuing the rollout to other stations later this year.
The cameras are state-of-the-art high definition, and the network is viewable in real time. With more on the cameras and other CTA customer safety measures, here's Gene Sparrow.
With grant money provided by the Department of Homeland Security, the CTA is installing additional security cameras throughout the rail system.
Safety and security is our first priority at CTA for our customers and for our employees. One of the tools that we use in partnership with the Chicago Police Department are cameras. And there are cameras in the CTA system, both on the buses and in many of the rail stations. Recently, we deployed new cameras, for example, along the Green Line, both going west and south in the city.
Cameras are important tools for CTA.
Many of the cameras throughout the CTA system are linked to our control center. Our control center operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In addition, if a specific issue or concern comes up, there's the capacity at our Office of Emergency Management for the City of Chicago on the 911 floor to be able to pull up live view of the cameras.
CTA works closely with the Chicago Police Department Public Transportation Section. This group of officers is responsible strictly for security on CTA.
We communicate with them frequently, and they design their patrolling and their monitoring of our system around things that we see as trends, as issues of concern. So these are police officers who are on the system daily, who are extremely familiar with the system. They're familiar with the types of issues and problems that can come up in public transportation. So they're out there looking for those issues and really helping work with CTA security, CTA operating personnel, and the public.
Along with the cameras and the Chicago Police, there are several ways that CTA customers can stay secure while riding.
Riding the CTA is very safe. There are definitely things that customers can do to protect themselves and their personal property. So for example, just as you would on the street, if you feel uncomfortable, we suggest that you alert a CTA employee and let them know. Push the button that's in a rail car, for example. Let the bus driver know, let a customer assistant know. One suggestion we make for our customers who are riding on the trains is if you are either standing or sitting near a door, be aware that sometimes what happens is that those who look to take advantage of our customers will grab an item from your hand right as the doors are closing. Crowded areas, coming in and out of the train cars, is an opportunity for people to bump and jostle you. You may not think anything of it, but it's a technique. Another suggestion would be that if you do have your belongings, the best place for them, if you're seated, is in your lap right in front of you.
The most important thing you can do is be constantly aware of everything going on around you.
The bottom line is the CTA wants your ride to be safe, secure, and comfortable. So whether it's a suspicious package, it's someone who perhaps is giving you unwanted attention, or it's a concern that you have, we want you to raise it with us. Please let us know in a timely manner where these things are occurring, because then we can direct our resources to assist. The way you can let us know what's going on is talk to a CTA employee, a train operator, a bus operator, a customer assistant, or call CTA customer service, and that information is fed into safety and security if you file a complaint through them. It's important because sometimes those little tiny pieces of information put together with other information that law enforcement has can really has shown to be an important preventative tool in protecting customers.
Doors closing.
Increasing the number of cameras across the CTA system will help to enhance security at rail facilities.
Thanks, Gene. You've seen the phrase on CTA brochures and on signs on the buses and trains. But it's worth repeating. If you see something, say something. It's that simple. Public transit is one of the most effective ways city dwellers can minimize our collective carbon footprint. When you go CTA, you go green and do your part to reduce pollution and dependence on fossil fuels. Recently, the Chicago Transit Board passed a resolution recognizing the agency's ongoing sustainability initiatives and pledged their support for the continuation of such initiatives in the future. The CTA also launched a new section on its website, www.transitchicago.com/goinggreen, which highlights the agency's green efforts. Going Green facts are displayed on CTA vehicles and on digital display screens located at rail stations. These facts outline some of the environmentally friendly benefits of public transportation. CTA's hybrid EcoBus reminds customers of the importance of public transportation in helping the environment. The bus will make appearances at various expositions and festivals across the city.
Adding hybrid buses to the fleet is just one of the many ways the CTA is going green. Gene Sparrow takes a look at some other technologies and initiatives.
Public transit is one of the most effective ways urban dwellers can reduce their carbon footprint. CTA is going further in its everyday practices to make Chicago's transit as green as possible. Adding hybrid buses to its fleet is just one of the ways CTA is making a difference.
The CTA provides millions of rides every weekday, and 2/3 of those rides are on buses. We need to continually invest in the fleet so that we have reliable and sufficient equipment to meet our daily demand. We are also continuously looking for ways to improve the performance of the fleet by investing in innovative technologies that can help combat high fuel costs and lower our maintenance costs, while also being environmentally friendly. With the budget challenges we face, we are constantly seeking ways to be more cost efficient.
In 2009, President Rodriguez announced a $50 million capital investment in 58 more hybrid articulated buses. These funds were part of a $241 million federal stimulus bill.
These hybrids represent significant savings. The CTA will have a total of 208 articulated hybrid buses in its fleet. We estimate that the hybrid technology on these 208 buses can help to save over $7 million annually in parts, labor, and fuel. These hybrid buses are quieter, cleaner, and run more smoothly than conventional engine systems, and that improves the riding experience for our customers.
CTA is benefiting from fuel economy savings, lower emissions, and significant operational savings from the hybrids. The hybrid articulated buses purchased with stimulus funds display the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act logo. And like all buses in its fleet, the hybrids run on ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel, even further lowering emissions. CTA switched to ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel in 2003. New buses come equipped with low-emission engines as well, adding to the effort to reduce emissions. Not only is CTA's fleet becoming greener, its facilities incorporate green technologies as well. CTA headquarters was designed with Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, or LEED, standards, and includes a green roof.
It is a series of layers that are added to what is a conventional roofing membrane, which of course is designed to keep the water out of the building. There's first of all, a layer of soil or growing medium for the vegetation. Then there's a separator that separates that soil from a water retention layer. And then there's insulation, and then finally the roofing membrane, which is underneath it.
CTA's green roof was installed in 2004. Besides the obvious beauty, there are many benefits to installing a green roof.
A conventional roof has one of the causes of its deterioration is solar energy. The green roof layer protects the roof membrane from that kind of deterioration, and it can cause the roof to last 2 or 3 times longer than it would otherwise. And re-roofing a building is a significant capital expense, and if you can postpone that instead of 10 or 15 years to 30 or 45 years, then that's a significant saving.
In addition to it lasting longer, a green roof also lowers building heating and cooling costs, reduces storm water runoff, and keeps rainwater out of the sewer system, filters pollutants out of air and rainwater, and reduces urban heat island effect.
Finally, there's that thing called the urban heat island effect, which is a dome of hot air that generally covers urban environments. When cities are built up with buildings and pavement, those things capture and retain heat, but it's significantly different at night because these structures hold the heat and they don't allow the area to cool down as much. Some studies indicate that it could be as much as a 25% difference between having a green roof on a building and not.
So the CTA takes care of its riding customers every day, and it's also making every effort to take care of our environment. It's all part of making Chicago the most green city in the world. CTA is continuing to look for green initiatives that will help the environment.
That's right, Gene. And don't forget the CTA's Bike and Ride program. You can park your bike at the station, put it on a bus bike rack, or roll it right onto the train.
The Cermak Chinatown station renovation is underway. Here's the artist's rendering of the new station house. When completed next year, it will have an elevator and will be accessible. The main entrance off Cermak is closed during construction. But there is a new auxiliary entrance on Archer that will allow entry to the station during construction. Look for the entire renovation project to be complete by the end of the year. The City of Chicago fireworks will be held in 3 locations across the city this year on July 4th. Whether you're heading to the show near Montrose Beach, the one at Navy Pier, or the one near 63rd Street Beach, the CTA is the best way to get to and from the shows. Additional bus services will be added to the routes serving the fireworks, and longer trains will be available. Watch our website and the local newspaper for updates. Is your Chicago card good to go? Now's a good time to check the card's expiration. Chicago Card Plus and Chicago Cards expire after 4 years. Check the expiration by waving your card near the reader at a passenger information unit at any rail station. Or log into your account online. The expiration date is next to the cardholder's name. The www.transitchicago.com website also has a how-to guide for all your Chicago Card and Chicago Card Plus questions.
If you haven't been to the CTA website recently, check it out. There's an App Center page where you can now find links to the latest web applications to fit your individual transit needs.
Got a smartphone? Here's a smart way to make the most of it. Download the latest transit mobile applications posted on the CTA website.
What we've started doing is to acknowledge the hard work of independent developers and help our customers find some of the nifty apps that are out there. Post a Transit App Center on transitchicago.com.
The CTA shares schedules, bus tracker information, and other data with software developers interested in developing public transit applications. The data is available on the CTA's Developer Center webpage.
The way that we share the data is to simply post it on our website. Now, if you want to get access to bus tracker information, you do need to register, but otherwise the data is free for anyone to download.
They have a developer program that's been out for a while now, which makes it really easy for developers to make their own apps.
Jacob Erickson is an assistant professor of computer science at the University of Illinois, Chicago. He developed the Transit Genie phone application for tourists and others unfamiliar with the CTA system.
You indicate where you want to go, and now Transit Genie will compute a number of different routes, how you can get there, using both the schedules of the various transit systems and the real-time location of buses. So then it'll compute routes based on all this information, figure out what's the easiest and quickest way to get there right now.
Transit Genie was developed as part of a UIC research project.
The app is free. As a researcher and professor, I get paid by a university and by various research funding agencies, so we don't need to charge our users for it.
This is really one of the nice things about the App Center. Basically, by sharing this data, people who are interested in the information are taking it and doing their own things with it. So it doesn't cost CTA or the public in general anything to have these apps developed.
The App Center has mobile apps for Android, BlackBerry, iPhone, and iPod Touch. The CTA doesn't create, license, or endorse any of the apps, though they are screened before inclusion on the webpage.
What we're doing is basically giving a little description of what each of these apps does and providing a link back to the software developer's website.
Tony demonstrates with an Android smartphone. All he has to do is snap a picture of the barcode on the screen and it's captured on the phone. It's that easy?
Yeah, it's that easy. And then you can look at the features, you can view other people's reviews, and install it.
It's not just mobile device applications you can find on the App Center. Web and desktop apps are available too.
Our hope is that the result of these efforts in all of these different groups of people is a really diverse array of applications that help all of our customers.
So far, there are more than 300 developers who have registered to use CTA data to design new transit software. Earlier, we told you how many CTA rail cars are between 30 to 40 years old. The fact that they are still in good running condition gives testament to the dedication and the skill of CTA's maintenance professionals. Gene Sparrow talked to the champions of the CTA rail maintenance competition.
The three gentlemen that participate on our winning rodeo team, we have 2 electricians, 1 machinist. What they do is trains come here when they have more complicated problems that can't be handled out on the line of road where we do our normal day-to-day inspections of the trains. When they come here, our guys will troubleshoot them, diagnose the problem, take it out onto our test track, run the trains until that problem has been solved, and put the train back into service.
I'm the electrician over here. We troubleshooting the problem in the train.
Our responsibilities are stripping, rebuilding, and inspecting the railcar trucks. And basically what we do is strip them down and we rebuild them back up.
What I do day to day is basically troubleshoot the trains, different components, the electrical systems throughout the train.
My favorite part of my job is just being around the guys, coming in, having a good time, doing our job, learning something new every day.
These 3 rodeo winners come together daily to diagnose problems and keep the trains running for CTA customers.
Norman and Wellington are both electricians, 2 of our best troubleshooters. They have great knowledge of the trains. Orlando is a machinist, very knowledgeable of machinist categories, reading meters, tooling, things like that.
Well, the way it impacts the customers is that we keep the trains running efficiently so that they can get to where they're going on time.
We get the cars going, we strip them down, we repair them. Without us doing the repairs on them, they won't be able to run. So what we do is an inspection on them. Once we inspect, we find a defect, we repair it right away so we can get the cars out so the trains can keep moving. Customers can be satisfied.
The CTA Rodeo is a friendly skills competition that allows employees to demonstrate excellence in their jobs. The 3 rodeo winners competed together as a team for the first time this year, although Orlando and Wellington have won in the past.
I have over 7 years working with Wellington, competing, and he's my go-to guy. This is our first year with Norman. He also did an awesome job.
The rodeo consists of 8 different categories, 1 being a written test, and 7 of them are practical tests. Test their skills in all different levels of their job. Some electrical, some mechanical, computer circuits, things like that.
You have to have an impeccable attendance record, as well as you can't have any prior write-ups or anything like that for disciplinary actions. And you have to be knowledgeable in not only your general expertise, but others as well.
We helping each other to figure out the competition.
It's a great way for employees to hone their skills and gives them some bragging rights too.
I think that's a great accomplishment for myself to be able to come out on top after competing 7 years. I won 3 years in a row and 4 out of the last 5. I feel proud of myself.
Their teamwork is an inspiration, and their hard work keeps the trains on schedule.
On that note, I'd like to say thank you for watching Connections. And if you have a CTA story or a travel tip you'd like to share, please give us a call on the Connections hotline, 312-681-2812. I'm Omar Barragan. I'll see you next time on Connections.